Hey guys, no video for our Wheels in Japan playlist. So this is a driving school. That building over there is where they do their theory lessons, and then this space in front of us is where they practice driving. Those yellow things are where they practice parking. They can actually boof those yellow things and not do too much damage to their cars. So the deal in Japan is that to get a driving license you have to go to a driving school. So in some countries you can get a learning permit and you can practice driving with your parents or somebody else who's an experienced driver. Can't do that in Japan. You've got to go to a driving school, go through their syllabus, and then have a driving test at the end of it. So the cheapest cost tends to be about $2,000, and it goes up to, could be $4,000. It depends on your level of competency, of course. How competent you are, how long it takes you to get your skills up to where you can pass the test. So pretty expensive compared with other countries, of course. Pretty expensive. So this is another driving school, obviously practicing driving at night. It's like, it's terrifying to watch. So most of those cars there, see the one with the purple light on it? That one has a young driver practicing on his own. So the purple light's saying, look out, look out for this guy. The ones that don't have a purple light showing are actually driving with a teacher in the car. That one's got a lot of purple lights. You've got to really look out for that guy, apparently. Here he comes. So we've talked about getting a driver's license in Japan on previous videos. If you come from some countries, including Australia, you can swap your Australian driving license for a Japanese one. You basically just do an eye test and fill out a couple of forms and they'll give you a Japanese license. Because Australians drive on the left-hand side of the road, our rules are similar to the Japanese rules. So we're really lucky because people who come from some other countries, or most other countries, have to do the driving test. So it's a bit of a hurdle for some people to get over because there's a lot of Japanese involved, a lot of expense involved usually. So it's a bit of a hassle for lots of people. We're actually working at the moment on getting a couple of driving schools that we can recommend to you that are English friendly, just to make it a little bit easier. It's hard to get them. They're mostly Japanese owned and operated, and they're sort of not interested in working with foreigners, unfortunately. So once these guys have had all their theory lessons in the classrooms and have shown themselves to be competent on this track, then they're allowed to go out on the road with their teacher. Usually in pairs. It's a really Japanese style thing. Usually there'll be one student driving and another student in the back seat. So it's typical Japanese. They never do anything on their own. And then the other thing is usually you'll see 2 or 3 of the cars driving around together. So always the group thing in Japan. Even an individual thing like learning to drive, they'll do it as a group. So you can see these 2 cars here. So each one has a driver who's a student driving and another student in the back seat, and then at some stage during the process they must swap over. So it's typical. Japanese style is to do everything in groups. Pretty high profile driving school car, isn't it? So yeah, pretty common. See these guys doing their thing, being very careful and very slow as they usually are. And here's a truck version of the same thing. So yeah, getting a driving license in Japan, not surprisingly, a lot of faffing and a lot of hurdles to jump. But we'll get back to you with that driving school. We're working on that for you. We'll get back to you with that. Anyway, there was that. More videos coming soon.